So I had the sales rep side, I had the distribution side, and then I created a machine tool business, and I became extremely successful. Then, one day, the automotive business, I saw the first cycle of a hit.
And of course, 2008 was, if you want to talk about a cliff, that was a period of time here, particularly in Michigan, where the automobile industry just went out of business for the most part.
I wasn't ready for it. Totally devastated me.
Basically, all of the banks shut down all the credit lines to automobile suppliers because, for all intents and purposes, GM and Chrysler were essentially bankrupt.
I'd come into the office and I'd see these people that had been with me for years. I knew that I was going to have to tell them that, hey, this company's not going to make it, and you're going to have to go find a job.
Greg was very serious about making sure that he kept his employees employed.
So he basically kind of, pivoted to a different type of business, something non-automotive that he could, sink his teeth into that would still be, sales-oriented.
This consumer product is going to involve kids, and it's going to involve mainstream America, and it's going to be inexpensive, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I created this little lab in my lower level of my house.
And he started messing around with it, and he came up with a way of manufacturing the product, the ROXO, the way he would have manufactured automotive parts.
Dave Kaiser, my CFO that was at the previous company, I gave him one.
So he had headshots of my kids and my dog, and he knew I was a Christian, and so he had some Christian rocks, and he knew I was very proud of my Scottish heritage, so he had some Scottish rocks made. And he showed me the band, and that's when it really hit me.
And he was like, wow, I don't wear jewelry, but this is amazing. I said to him, I want to see what we can do with this.
He started showing up to baseball games with these little things on his wrists. I said, hey, look what I did today. I made a little Chicago Cubs or a Detroit Tiger charm. I said, where'd you get that? He said, I made it in my basement. So every game he showed up with a new charm that he called a rock. And ROXO is developed slowly but surely out of his basement. And the more games we had, the more stuff he showed up with. And the next thing I know, he's taking it to his daughter's school.
Her friends started to respond to it, so then I went to the principal and I started doing these fundraisers at these schools, and these kids would go just crazy when they saw them. And right then and there, I knew I had something great.
And so he came to my offices and told me about ROXO, and we, just like we did, 15 years ago, we formed ROXO.
And I met Frank Campanelli, I met Craig Velasquez, I met Scott Norton.
We live on a lake, and every time I'd see him pulling up the jet ski, I'd turn around and try to get away from him because he was, trying to get me involved in his business. And
Greg was never one to come right to me and ask for investment dollars. He was always asking for input. My background is I've been involved with a lot of companies, developing them, doing some sales and things like that. And Greg just was always picking my brain for information.
He said, I'm going to go on an airplane and I'm going to go to Disney. I'm going to go get a Disney license. Everybody said, man, what are you doing?
And as he went deeper and deeper with the ROXO program, he told me about the opportunity to possibly get a licensing fee with Disney. And that kind of perked my interest, so I actually offered to Greg, if you need some help, you have a board, I'd be happy to participate and help you out where I can. And I think that's when Greg really sunk his teeth into me, so to speak.
So I get on this airplane, and I go to Glendale, and I'm sitting with 10 people. I have an iPad and a brown bag with ROXO bands in it. And everybody's sitting there, and this is exactly what I said. I said, this product I'm about to show you is gonna wow you. You're gonna be excited, and I hope you show your emotion, because it's a lot of fun when you do. And I shut the lights. I did the presentation, turned the lights on, pulled the ROXOs out of the bag, and I saw nothing but smiles.
And so he comes back with an agreement that essentially said that if we provided a letter of credit, not even cash up front, but a letter of credit in order to support the fact that this was a real business, that they in fact would give Greg a licensing agreement for virtually all of the Disney characters, not only just the obvious ones, but all the characters out of all the movies and cartoons and so forth. At that point I recognized that I'm making an investment not only in the product and the brand, but really making an investment in Greg, because as I said, he doesn't know the word no.
Yeah, you don't get a contract out of Disney overnight. You know, you just don't do it. Disney likes to take their time.
If Disney was that involved with Greg and his product and were that solidly behind what he was doing, then I knew we had something special.
He got the licensing agreements not only from Disney, but from Marvel Comics. I mean, I went on a number of these meetings with him, and then we went out and found distribution.
And I went down to Walmart to the Disney showroom, and they said, come back in a week, we're gonna bring the buyer in. You got a half-hour meeting. And I had my price point, and everybody fought me on my price point. And I said, no. I said, I'm a Mac. I'm made in the USA, I'm made in Detroit. This is a top quality product. This is built here in America by American workers. And they fought me, and Frank Campanelli, he didn't argue with me. He wanted to, but he didn't, because he knew that I was passionate at what I was gonna say to that buyer. Buyer comes in, we had a half-hour meeting, ends up being a 3-hour meeting. We missed our flight. And she gave us an order.
We were the fastest Walmart launch in history. From the day we shook hands with the buyer to the day we shipped was approximately 90 days.
Let me tell you something. Those 90 days, it was unbelievable.
And so we made our deadline, and I would say 99% of the population out there couldn't have done it. But Greg, in his automotive background, taught him to make the impossible possible. And it has really served us very well in the ROXO experience as well.
And Walmart, by the way, loves the story. I mean, they love the fact that in their own way, they're helping a city like Detroit be able to come out of the doldrums to whatever small degree it can because of the re-beginning of a business.
If I look back from the basement to where we are today, it's amazing. I just want to inspire you to take a look at my story and just keep the faith, keep your drive, don't give up. Don't let them tear you down. You can do it. Thanks for listening to my story.